hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to continue our discussion on first offender, conditional discharge, and consequences for those who fail to successfully complete their first offender sentence or their conditional discharge sentence, okay? And so before we get started, I wanted to do a quick recap with y'all, all right? And so I previously explained to y'all that first offender is a law here in Georgia that helps prevent you from having a felony conviction on your record. Conditional discharge is also a law here in Georgia that helps prevent you from having a drug conviction on your record, okay? Now, I also explained that first offender covers a wide range of crimes, okay? Which means most crimes are going to qualify for first offender treatment. Conditional discharge, on the other hand, is very limited. It only applies to drug-related crimes, so keep that in mind. Now, first offender applies to felonies as well as misdemeanors. Conditional discharge applies to felony drug charges as well as misdemeanor drug charges, okay? However, I would not advise anyone to use their first offender nor their conditional discharge on misdemeanors, okay, you guys? So for purposes of this discussion, I'm not even going to entertain misdemeanors. I'm going to strictly talk about felonies, okay, y'all? Now, before we get into our discussion about the downside or consequences of someone who fails to successfully complete their first offender sentence or their conditional discharge sentence, I want to go back and talk to you guys a little bit more about when to use first offender versus conditional discharge, okay? So here we go, and I'm going to give you guys example. Example number one. Let's say you are charged with aggravated assault, okay? Here you have first offender. Here you have conditional discharge, okay? You don't want to go to trial. You don't want this aggravated assault conviction on your record, okay? And so you have the option of choosing the first offender or conditional discharge. Well, you know, first offender covers a wide range of crimes, okay? Aggravated assault qualifies for first offender treatment, okay? On the other hand, you have conditional discharge. Conditional discharge only applies to drug-related crimes, okay? Because aggravated assault is not a drug-related crime, you do not have the option of using conditional discharge. So you're going to be left with using first offender as your option, okay? So you use first offender, all right? Example number two. Let's say that you are charged with, let's say you're charged with simple drug possession, okay? Simple drug possession. You have first offender here, you have conditional discharge. You don't want to go to trial, you want to resolve it, you don't want a conviction on your record, okay? You know first offender covers a wide range of crimes. Simple drug possession qualifies for first offender treatment. Conditional discharge applies to drug related crime, okay? Simple drug possession is a drug related crime. Let's say that you choose to use your first offender, okay? You choose to use your first offender, which means you only have conditional discharge left in the future if you mess up, okay? Let's say a year later, you're back before the court on a robbery charge, okay? You don't want to go to trial. You don't want to enter a guilty plea and have that felony conviction on your record. So you look to see what your options are, right? The only thing you have left to protect your record at this point is conditional discharge. But what is the problem? The problem is conditional discharge only applies to drug-related crimes. Robbery in this example is not a drug-related crime. And so your only option left is to either go to trial or enter a guilty plea to that robbery and have that robbery conviction on your record, okay? Now, same example, example two, I'm just gonna change the facts a little. Let's say that you are charged with simple drug possession, okay? First offender's here, conditional discharge here, okay? This time, you choose to use conditional discharge because you're more thoughtful and strategic, okay? You qualify to use both, but this time, instead of using first offender, you use conditional discharge. So you use conditional discharge to resolve your simple drug possession charge, okay? You have first offender left. Let's say a year later, you're back before the court on a robbery charge, okay? Well, you don't want to go to trial and you don't want to have that robbery conviction on your record. So you look to see what your options are, right? Well, you have first offender. You know first offender covers a wide range of crimes, robbery being one of them. So to help you and to save your record, you use first offender, okay? You use first offender. And so now you have two options, or you have two chances of saving your record. Do you guys see how that works? Do you guys see? Okay, now I want to talk about the downside or consequence for those who fail to successfully complete their first offender sentence or their conditional discharge sentence, okay? Now, you guys know that when you're sentenced on a first offender, the judge can either sentence you to confinement, probation, or maybe a mixture of the two, okay? When you're sentenced on the conditional discharge, the judge will most likely sentence you to probation and will also require you to undergo some type of drug treatment, okay? Now, rather you're sentenced under first offender or conditional discharge, there will be terms and condition of your sentence that you have to comply with, okay? Now, if you fail to comply with the terms and condition of your sentence, your probation officer will file what you call a petition to have your probation revoked, and or a petition to have your first offender or conditional discharge revoked, okay? Now, once that petition is filed, a hearing is then held. At the hearing, if the judge determines that you are in fact in violation of the terms and condition of your first offender sentence or your conditional discharge sentence, the judge would then revoke or can revoke your first offender or your conditional discharge, re-sentence you, and have that conviction placed on your record, okay? Do you guys see how that works? So I would advise you guys that if you're going to use first offender or conditional discharge, you guys do the right thing. Make sure you guys can comply with the terms and condition of your sentence, okay? So that you can take advantage of the benefit of first offender and conditional discharge, all right? As always, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Remember, subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me directly through my website, lingolaw.com. That is LINGOLAW.com. Okay, guys, until next time.